Hey, Coach. Obviously, this team, after that kind of performance, could be riding high, could be kind of walking on clouds. What have you seen from them? What are the right things you're seeing to where you know that they're still professional about it, they're still grounded as they move forward?
The level of competitiveness and training. We've had 2 good days. Obviously, got back to work, and again, there's a humility and a hunger. I think they realized the result was good. It's a performance to build on, and it's the start of the season. It's game 1 of 34, and you don't win championships in week 1. So we're building, and we're still in that initial phase. We got a lot of new guys, and we're still getting everybody up to speed. But I think they see the positives of. Again, I look at the performance validates a bit of the work that we've been putting in preseason, but also the foundation that was laid last year. And I really believe that's the case. And bringing in some players along the way and getting them up to speed with those ideas, and the execution was nice to see. And the nice side of the game, I think, was the result, a good performance, and we got some of our new guys acclimated to MLS and got them some valuable minutes.
So it sounds like you didn't have to have that moment where you reminded them, guys, it was one game. We have a lot of work to do. They did it on their own.
Yeah, I think there's enough polish, enough experience, and professionalism inside our group. I've certainly hinted at it post game, but they understand that. There's guys that have played for their national team and other leagues and understand this is just part of the deal. It's game 1, and we have a lot to achieve, and it was a good performance, but we want to continue to build.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dennis. Let's go to Tyler Feldman with KVUE. Tyler.
Hey, Josh. Hope you enjoyed your birthday last week. Now that it's John's, but my question is: you said you were going to review the film. Obviously, a lot of good takeaways from that 5-0 win. But what were some takeaways where this team still has room to grow, room to improve, specifically for Sunday's match against Inter Miami?
Yeah, I think in preseason we played a number of different opponents. So and when we saw Cincinnati and they played a diamond, a very centrally orientated team, they had some big boys along our line, and they provided some challenges. So the physicality that we needed to match and deal with, while also preventing some central areas. They were very central, a lot of numbers. So in our defensive structure, we probably did a little better as the game went on and minimizing that and dealing with that. So that's something that we've got to shore up and be cognizant of. And then just competing along the back line. I think Kip and Julio did a nice job. I think Ruben came in as well. But for Nick and Z, understanding the combativeness that's needed, and certainly when you need to attach to the line, but defending the penalty box and areas that become combative. So I think there's some things that we can get better at, and that's throughout the side. I think even offensively, just having a bit more patience in the attack, breaking their initial pressure a little bit more quickly. In the second half, it slowed down, the tempo slowed down. So getting through their first bit of pressure, and then setting up attacks a little bit more, not being so quick to finish things. Get up there, set it up, get our numbers up there so that we're in a good position. If and when we lose the ball, we're able to smother the opponent and reestablish another possession.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, Tyler. Jim Bertuno with the Associated Press. Jim.
Yeah, hi. Couple quick questions. The first one is, you just referenced a second ago about the foundation that was laid last year. Expand on that a little bit. If you just looked at the wins and losses, some might not understand what you're talking about. So what do you mean about the foundation that carries over into this season?
I think we have a way of playing. Our identity is certainly clear. We're a possession-based team. We start with a good positional understanding of what it's going to look like when we have the ball. From the moment our goalie has the ball, there's a pretty good idea of how we want to navigate pressure and break the opponent or attract and disorganize the opponent. And that's something that was worked on mightily last year. And again, last year was last year. I guess you referenced possibly what the season looked like and maybe the results, but it's a challenging year. You're 8 on the road and a number of injuries and certainly you're persevering through what COVID was, and it was many challenges, but along the way, we were still able to establish a lot of our game model and our identity, and our players that returned from last season have a pretty clear understanding of that. We also learned about other players that are no longer here, and we brought in quality and certainly depth that helps accentuate what we've already built, and we're better for it. And I think that was a good example of what happened on Saturday, but we still have much to learn and keep growing on.
And if you could quickly compare yourself as the coach, one game into the season, I know the result's different, but just overall, Josh Wolff today versus Josh Wolff last year at this time as the coach.
Well, I'd say a year more experienced, and certainly more understanding of what our guys need, and it's drastically different. There was so much learning and teaching going on, throughout much of last year. Now it's refining, it's bringing new guys in and getting them up to speed, and we reflected on what we felt was good and poor last year, and we've tried to correct some of those. And week one went well, but there's also going to be difficulty throughout the year. So we won't get too carried away with winning one game. And now we want to back it up with some consistency and another good performance at home on Sunday against Inter Miami.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Chris Bills with the Striker. Chris?
Thanks. Yeah, my connection's a little shaky, so I'm not going to jinx things here with the video, but appreciate the time, Josh. You mentioned how central Cincinnati was. Miami has been playing, they played 5 across the back, 3-5-2, really looking to spread wide. How do you correct those things that you wanted to see better through the middle, while also kind of focusing on an opponent that's going to present some different challenges with the width and, DeAndre Edlin, sort of flying down that flank?
Yeah, Inter Miami's they got some speed, they've got quality, and they have physicality. So they'll provide some challenges. And again, our defensive structure is going to need to be flexible. They adjust how they build. They as you mentioned, they build with 3. They've also restructure and look like a back 4 at times. But they have quality in front of goal with Gonzalo Higuain. Their 2 center midfielders, Gregora and Mota, are extremely physical. And again, Lassiter is a guy that can come in. He has verticality, and Yedlin, we know, has a fantastic athleticism, power, and endurance. So he's another person that we have to be aware of. But we also need to find ways to hurt them, and need to find ways to stretch them and move them around the field, and find ways to access some of the areas that we find valuable. And those are the things that we'll work on the next couple of days. We touched on it just briefly today in our session, but those are the things that we'll look to do. We obviously got to be mindful of what their qualities are, but we have to find ways to hurt them. We're at home, and we got to drive the game and look to score goals and pitch another shutout.
Another thing, kind of watching back the film, it looked like you guys were looking to play a little bit more direct, especially early in the game. How much of that was just the game state and what Cincinnati was sort of demanding, and how much can we expect to see maybe that more a little bit going forward? The long goal kicks, a few balls from Zan, trying to skip lines. Is that something that you guys are a little bit more open to this year than maybe we saw this time last year?
Yeah, I think that evolved last year as well. I think you have to be mindful of what the opponent's doing. They were in a very organized diamond. So for us, a big part of that was to stress and stretch the diamond and have moments where you played vertically. But the real issues that they had with us was when we went side to side, and when we went fullback to fullback, or we went 10 to weak side fullback, and really started moving them and challenging them. And then physically, it's difficult to hold up. And we got access to some very good areas. Our overload to create the 3rd goal was exceptional, and we could have done that more often in the second half. And then as we brought down another midfielder in the second half, they had very few answers for our ability to move through the midfield. And it's just our guys obviously understanding what's needed in the game. That's game management is a lot of what we talked about with our players in the offseason. Brad being a big one as far as when we're building up from goalkeeper. What's the moment like? Are we under pressure? Is there stress? Does he need to put his foot on it and just push everybody up the field? Can we play out? So we filter that discussion through the group quite often. And I think we have a much more mature group, and we obviously want to play, but we also have to recognize what the opponent's trying to do as well.
Thank you, Chris. Let's go to Roger Wallace with KXAN. Roger.
Hey, Josh, when you play the preseason matches, you get an idea, but it all changes when it counts. Did you learn anything maybe about your guys that you didn't know, or you were so curious to see because it is a new group?
Yeah, I think the first point you made is it was extremely accurate. The preseason, we played a number of different opponents, and I'll look at our game that we played at Q2 against Atlas. Those aren't the normal types of preseason games, and that was, I think, very impactful and a big lift for our players. You're playing against a very high level team, and you're playing inside our stadium. So there was an emotion to it. There was an intensity to it, and a speed that's more reflective of what is typical of our MLS games. So I think that prepared us in a good way. And as the game unfolded, I think I love the players' intentions. We scored goals. We wanted to score more goals, and then the willingness and the effort, the genuine effort and hard work that these guys put in to maintain a 0. It wasn't perfect. We gave up chances, but some of the recoveries from Maxi Urruti or Johan or even Sebastian, Alex, some of the tackling to preserve the 0 from Kip and from Julio. Even Ruben, when he came in, was fantastic to see. But there was a real commitment to keep the 0, and those were things that again we talk about internally a lot. But the grittiness and the grind was evident. But I also enjoyed the fact that we put 5 on the board.
And then if I could ask a follow-up just about one more at home before you get more into a road home kind of grind here. I mean, there's importance too to rack up some points, kind of like last year. Kind of keep your head above water here, maybe the other way around with these first 2.
Yeah, it's definitely different than last year. We spent 9 of the first 10 on the road, and it's nice to be at home, and we want to make Q2 a tough place to play. And I mentioned, I think last week, the end of last year, our home games meant a lot to us, and we put a lot into that. And, the year was what it was, but we wanted to establish what this place means to us and what it means for our fans. And we had good performances, really good performances down the stretch at home. And we want to continue that understanding and initiative in the start of the season. Winning at Q2 is paramount. That's our goal. That's our objective. And we have 17 games. And if you win, a substantial amount of that puts you in a good position now to obviously compete for playoffs. But it's a tough place to play. It's energy. It's a great atmosphere, and our guys feel it. And we're going to look to utilize it again Sunday afternoon against Inter.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roger. We'll go to John Lupo. John, you have 2.
Yes, thank you. Josh, first off, of the 5 goals you scored on Saturday, 2 of them came from set pieces. How impressed are you that right away, the first match of the season, you were able to get a couple of goals right away from dead ball situations, from stuff I assume you were working on in the training ground?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Preston Burpo and takes a big role and initiative with both offensive and defensive set pieces. And we talked about it last year. We were one of the highest, set piece, certainly corner kicks, and we didn't capitalize enough. And that was a big part of what we talked about in this offseason, layering in a couple different ways what our direct intentions are, and then now how we can utilize second phase of some of our set pieces. So we scored another one on Sunday when we played RGV in a very similar way. So it was these are things that we've worked on, and again, I think Preston's done a great job creating a real clarity as to what the roles are, what it looks like in the first phase and second phase, and it was nice to get rewarded from it. Obviously, real good delivery from Z. The player probably misplayed that, but the responsibility of Cecilio to get to that back post space that we always talk about was great, and Nicky's ability to keep balls alive, and still occupy that red zone was nice to see, and our guys were able to finish that play off.
Also, Sebastian, you mentioned last year how impressed you were with him when he came into the club. We know how talented he is. You always had mentioned when he got a full preseason with the club under his belt and he gets a goal right away. What impressed you the most out of all of his skills and all the things that he can do within the structure and the framework of what you wanted to do in the first game right away?
Yeah. I think his work rate and his work ethic, his honesty is what's probably most astounding to me. His high speed running, his closing down, his ability to make the penalty box is incredible. And when him and Maxi are working together, and it still needs to get better as far as the coordination and understanding defensively, but they can put you under pressure right away. And then from an attacking standpoint, getting him a little bit more freedom to where he can pop outside or pop lower, as he started to do, because even when he does create those situations of overload or he moves to other parts of the field, he always finds the time and the ability to make it to the penalty box and be another number. And in this game in particular, the amount of times that we had 4 or 5 guys in the penalty box for service was awesome. And some of that has to do with his ability to help us in build up. And now as we progress, he does a good job with the other players arriving in the penalty box, but he's got great ball security. And again, I think his ideas in and around the penalty box are very good. Linking up with Diego, linking up with Alex. These are all things that we talked about. And I think that they came in a nice way in the last game. I think he could be a little bit more brave in our buildup where he can turn centrally and now look to break lines a bit more when we are building up from goalkeeper. But we'll continue to work at it. But a lot of positives from him and the rest of the group in week one.
Great, Josh. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you, John. Jorge, go ahead.
Josh, I have two questions, very quick questions. First of all, Keith Keller, he was with a lot of energy after the yellow card. He was still with that energy. I remember seeing Adriussi coming and tell him, like this, like think. Do you guys talk to him about that energy, how to level the energy?
Yeah, I think he naturally has a great presence, a great energy, and I think what Sebastian was probably mentioning to him was understanding the moment, understanding he ended up on a yellow card, and it's a very combative game. And I mentioned we played a number of different opponents in preseason, and for him, this was also a challenge. Him and Julio, they had two big strikers along the line the whole time. They had Acosta, who was threatening the line, so it was difficult. And he took a beating. He was going against Vasquez, and that was a big boy, and he lost some duels. And then it's also understanding, in those moments, you may not be able to move the forward. You may not be able to displace them. So now understanding space and timing, because he mistimed some challenges and he took a yellow for it. So all part of the learning. But again, his competitiveness, his positivity is always evident. And you love the energy, and we love the energy that he brings to the team, to the fans. So we'll continue to encourage that. And along the way, he's got to continue to get better. He's got to get calmer with the ball, slow down his decision-making, be a little bit more secure and patient. I think those are things where he's going to, over time, he'll come to understand a bit better. But, for his first game as a pro, we were proud of him and obviously excited by his potential, but, we'll keep pushing him and the rest of the group.
Overall, the team, I think all the team was with a lot of energy, something that we saw with the 5-0. If there is something that you, after watching the game many times, is there something that you are concerned or you didn't like of the 5-0?
Well, I think there's always things inside there that we can continue to work on. I mentioned previously, again, being more secure in our defensive shape and what we're trying to take away from the opponent. The offensive side, again, we've shown that we can break the opponents down. I think we could be a little bit more, a bit quicker with how we're building up through the first phase of breaking the opponent, especially from goalkeeper. It was a little slow, it was a little methodical. So I think we could break lines a little quicker, move our attack into the opponent's half more, and really sustain attacks and really force the opponent now to defend their penalty box, defend in their own half. And be more, further up the field rather than certainly the second half. We took our time, we had the lead. So, I that's me nitpicking to some degree. We still got 5 goals, but just having that, certainly that aggressiveness to finish out the game in the right way, but also do it in the opponent's half, make them have to deal with us offensively. And again, have a real nice compact shape behind the ball and not allow the opponents to get out.
Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, is that today or tomorrow, John?
It's tomorrow. Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Okay. Well, sorry, I thought Wikipedia tricked me there for a second. No, you had such a good game the other day, and I think I've noticed, like, physically, you seem like you've put on maybe a little bit more muscle. You were speed and agility and all that seems like it's kind of gone up a little bit since you've gotten here. Can you take me through a little bit of your journey with that, how you worked with the training staff to get acclimated and ready for a 34-game season, where last year you were coming in right at the end of preseason?
I mean, yeah, last year, of course, I had to adapt pretty quickly, and the change of the weather in the summer, it was tough on me. I'm not gonna lie. So after the season ended, we kind of like made a plan what we're gonna do in the off season. While I was back home, our strength and conditioning coaches talked to my coach back home where I was training, and I took the off season very seriously because I know what it means to be ready. And last year I saw what MLS games are about. And I took that into consideration for this year to be better.
What's the biggest difference been for you? What feels the most improved during preseason?
I would just say like after playing a lot of games last year, especially like to know what the games are about, and that's speed, a lot of running, especially when the games start getting basically running up and down. It takes a toll on your body. Now as the first game as we played, we had a good weather, of course. You could run for days, so but now we have to also like be ready when it's going to get hotter, and that's when the real test is going to be for us.
Thanks, Chris. Much appreciated. We can go to Dennis De La Pena. Dennis?
Yeah, happy early birthday, John.
Thank you.
As far as the team goes, coming off such a fantastic result that you did, how hard is it to keep your feet on the ground? You guys worked hard last year and didn't have the kind of success that you had like in this opener. How hard is it to keep your feet on the ground as you move forward?
I mean, of course, it was a really good start. We won 5-0, but it brought a great atmosphere into the team after the game for this following week, and we don't want to lose that because we know how good it feels, and we have to keep that momentum going on.
You sound like individually, personally, you learned a lot from last year. Do you think this team has the kind of veteran leadership, the kind of experience that will easily put that in the rearview mirror and focus on the task at hand?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we have a lot of experienced players. We brought in a couple experienced players, and pretty much everybody's learned from last year, like what it takes to win games and how to stay focused throughout the whole game.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. We can go to Tyler Feldman with KVUE. Tyler?
Hey, happy early birthday. My biggest question is just what's the preparation been like this week specifically for Inter Miami on Sunday? Obviously building on the big win, but what are the specifics of focusing on that matchup and keys to victory again?
Well, I think it's going to be the same as against Cincinnati, and that's so that focus is going to be on us. What do we want to achieve in every game, or goals that we have set for this year, and then we're just gonna take it step by step, and of course to be combative in the game, to run, and then to communicate a lot, and that helps, and then we keep on going.
And then after reviewing the film from FC Cincinnati, are there areas in which Josh and the team is focusing on this week where it wasn't perfect and can be better?
Yeah, of course. There's pretty much no perfect game in soccer, so we rewatched it. We're gonna work on it in practice like we always do, and then we're gonna try and change it into the next game.
Thanks, Tyler. Much appreciated. Zach Smith. Zach?
Thank you. Just wanted, I know last year wasn't the best year for y'all from a set piece standpoint, and you got one from yourself there over the weekend. I guess, how have you seen improvements in kind of that area of the field from set piece, and what kind of an importance has that been in the offseason and preseason?
Again, we've been working on it. We had the statistics from last year. We saw that we weren't the best of it, so again, we were working on it in the off season and in the preseason, and we changed a little bit of tactics to see what works best. And we were lucky in the second minute of the first game to score from a set piece, and then another goal from pretty much a corner kick and putting the ball back in. So again, we have to work on it and to score more goals.
You have another, Zach? All good? Jim Bertuno from the Associated Press. Jim, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Take it away.
Sure thing. I was wondering, how is Josh different as a coach this second season managing this team? And what was his message to you guys this week?
I don't think that like Josh has changed much. He sticks to his plan. Uh, Him and his staff and the players believe in the plan, and that's the most important thing, to believe in your coach and to trust them. Do as he say, and then of course have a freedom as a player to save the situations if something happens. But message for this week is to like we said before, like we're not gonna stop after the 5-0 win. We want to win more games, even if it's 1-0. The goal's a goal, a win's a win, and that's how we want to continue.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Roger Wallace. Roger?
You mentioned the weather, and it looks like it could be drastically warmer on Sunday. Do you feel that during practice? How do you prepare for that? And what kind of toll does that take from a cold weather game to a warm weather game in the span of one game?
I mean, we're gonna have to adapt. Like the weather changes very quickly, and then if it's gonna get hotter, we want to have to keep the ball, make the opponent run, and that's how we're gonna save energy. But then at the end of it, it's everything's in the head. So that's what I think about it.
And I guess Miami's not a team that's going to be shocked by a warm weather game too. So I guess you don't have that advantage.
Yeah, I guess not.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Jorge?
Thank you. Hi, happy birthday also.
Thank you.
Do you think the team is playing very good? And I'm talking about the games with Houston and Cincinnati, or the rivals were too weak?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, do you think the team is playing very good? It was very good on Sunday with the 5-0, or Cincinnati was very bad?
No, I think that even if you play the team that was like at the bottom of the table last year, it's like here we saw that it's not easy to score 5 goals no matter what team it is, and to like not concede a goal. So I think that we played very good. We had to like keep our focus, because like you can drop a little bit of focus winning 2-0, 3-0 and get conceded, and the tables can turn. So I think that we managed that very well.
Now the team scored once, twice, 3 times, and keep going forward. Is that something that you guys it's a strategy, or you guys talk on the field to keep going forward and score?
No, we talk between the players that we have to keep going, because like I said, one mistake and everything can turn. You lose the momentum, and then if you get a goal, like the other team is down, or vice versa. So I think that we have to keep the focus on all the time.
So that's the mentality you guys are gonna have in all the games.
Yes.
Good.
Thank you, Jorge. Chris, do you have another?
Yeah, thanks. So Zan, the right side of Miami looked like they were playing a lot down that right side with Yedlin. Obviously a pretty physically demanding thing for you. How, I guess, first of all, like as more of an attacking fullback, how does your preparation change for a game like that? And how much more prepared do you feel than you did maybe a year ago for kind of like a really up and down type of play down your side than you were a year ago?
I mean, of course, we're gonna watch the video of Miami, the games that they played. We also have individual stuff, so that like you can watch the video of each and every player, and that's how you get prepared. But at the end, it's about us as a team, and we're gonna have to manage that to cover all the areas. So, and about the how I feel compared to last year. I think I gained a lot of confidence playing a lot of games last year, and like gaining the experience and being with the team all the time. So we know each other much better than we did last year, and I think that helps us.
Do you feel like you have more defensive responsibility a little bit? Kind of, you guys are playing more 4-4-2. Seems like, I mean, I know you got up quite a bit on Saturday, but do you feel like you've got a little bit more defensive responsibility?
Yeah, of course. At first, I'm a defender. I'm not the attacker. So my first goal is to prevent getting conceded on. So that's the type of mentality that I have this year. And then for going up front, I'm gonna have the energy to do it.